Yo. How's it going? Fine. I should really change it, but I can't be bothered. I've had it on for about a week now. More afternoon. Howdy. I met a cowboy who sells German cars the other day. He went, howdy. Hang on, see, banging them out. Oh, yeah, that's better. Any word on the computer? Nope. It's in the shop. They said they'll have a look at it, see what they can do, and he said if they can't fix it as it is, then they're basically going to completely wipe it. So it would basically mean everything's removed from it, and it will be starting from scratch. Which isn't a problem because virtually everything that I need, everything that's important is I can either download again or I've got backed up elsewhere. But it's I'll take that now. Quite frankly, I would if they offered me that, I would take that. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm drawing, so that's why I'm looking down. I'm not just like staring solemnly into the floor. But they said if it's not too busy today, they might get it done before the end of the day. But failing that, it should be. If it's not done today, I'll have to wait till Monday. So that is the word. That's all I know. But nothing I can do till then. So I might as well do a live stream because there's fuck all else I can do at the moment. You got to do back brakes on your car today. Dude, it's Saturday. You meant to fix the car on Sunday. You're going to need wrist braces. Any fashion tips? No. My advice is to actually spend some money and get some decent ones, because those beige ones they get you are fucking, they're hot and they irritate you. They're made out of barbed wire and camel's pubic hair, whatever the fucking hell. And so I would, but I mean, they are something you can lighten up and turn into a very fetching accessory. You can use, you can paint them, you can stud them up, you could use, you can use stickers, any number of things, But I wouldn't say glue and glitter. That would be a bad. What's up? Fucking everything. Literally, the world is for, if I, my, I've got this terrible feeling, if there is such a thing as reincarnation, knowing my luck, I'll come back as me. Stefan Molyneux pretended to be a woman in his own comic. Actually, that's not true, mate. I hate to defend Stefan here, but that, first of all, that was about 5 years ago. That comment was, and secondly, he wasn't pretending to. He does this thing. It doesn't make him look. It doesn't make him look any more of an insane egomaniac. But what he had this habit of doing is back then you couldn't pin comments. So what he would do is he would find a comment he liked, and then he would copy and paste, and he would copy and paste it and reprint it, and then it would be further near the top, so people, because he would want people to see that comment. So he wasn't actually pretending. Not that it matters. I mean, you might as well. I mean, let's be honest. Him posting a. It's not. I mean, I don't know if that would even make the top 100. Worst things that man's done in the last 2 months, possibly. I mean, it's still a ludicrously weird thing to do, like. It's it's not like me to, and I'm being honest, because why the fuck would I miss an opportunity to laugh at Stefan Molyneux? So. Well, dude, there's no point talking about computer-rated things because there's nothing I can do at the moment. It's in the repair shop. I've got to wait and see what they say. So I can't really talk about anything. I might if it's not if it's something they can sort out today and they're not too busy, then it will be sorted out hopefully by the end of the day, by the end of the workday. If it isn't, then I'm going to have to wait until Monday, which means I'm going to have. What is Monday? 25th. Today's the 26th, so 27th. So I'll have 28, 20. So I'll have 4 days in which time I've got to. So I've got to find. There is a place. There's a place not far from me, around the corner, that does do cheap, sort of second-hand, refurbished laptops and tablets and computers, so I should be able to get something. Monday's the worst day of the week. Not really. What editing software you use? I was using a program called Filmora, which was working perfectly well up until recently. Last night I decided to get a new one. Last night, and I got one called Corel, which there's loads out there. I mean, there's loads. It depends what you want to do, really. Depends how. Well, I don't know anything about Linux, mate. It's just it's not. It's not really my thing. I mean, there's no options for anything at the moment. Hey, I used Window Movie Maker for fucking up until about 2014, and it was for quite happily. It was perfectly good system. And then they decided for some reason not to offer you, not to give you any you can download it still, and you can even get it on, you can even fucking use it, but you can't fucking save anything on it. I mean, people take the piss out of Movie Maker. I mean, it's like, I mean, what more? It's not like if you're someone who's just like, if you're just you're just your average Joe, or you're someone who makes very, very simple, straightforward videos, i.e., me. It's a perfectly serviceable program. Have I used Blender? Nope. I can't really, like I said, fine off. There's no point suggesting anything because I haven't got a computer and I don't even know whether I'm going to use it. If they get it all fucking, but it's not the video editing software that's the problem. The problem is with the computer. The computer was knackered. It's got nothing to do. I'm not going to fuck around. I think I've got 3 different video editing software programs on my computer at the moment. I'm not going to fuck around getting another one. There's no need. What am I streaming on? My phone. Unfortunately, I can't edit videos on my phone because I don't have the footage I need on my phone. Secondly, it's not as good. The editing programs aren't as good on your phone. It's far too. I can make videos on my phone. I mean, I could do very basic editing, as in just like vlogging and stuff. But if I want to do stuff like, I don't even know if I can. I've now edited this video that I started a week ago that was meant to be a straightforward. I've now edited this 3 fucking times. You know what I mean? And so I don't think I can bring myself to start again today. What happens if the hard drive is balked? If the hard drive's balked, then I've got to go and get a cheap second-hand laptop to something just good enough to tide me over. Quite simply, that's it. But let's not. I mean, there's no sort of like. there's no sort of other options. I've just got to sit and wait. But if it, I can't not have a computer to. Oh, shit, sorry. Animate your videos. On what, Nabil? On what? What shall I animate them on? Have a think. Using paper. How about this, animate? How about you animate yourself into a fuck under your sink and animate some bleach down your fucking neck? Can I say this? And I mean this with, I'm much better than I was earlier. I was extremely fragile earlier. But please do not fucking, I'm not in the mood to be wound up or have people taking the piss too much, because this is actually really serious. Right? This is actually this is like, if this is something I don't need, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Can you handle that, Nabil? Can you not be an annoying prick for fucking one afternoon? Or at least annoy someone else who's not me? Yeah. This is like a guy who, imagine if I was like, my job was like, imagine if I was a spear maker and I just found out my fucking arms are going to fall off. That's where we are at the moment. Doesn't make spear making impossible. Have I heard of Robert Evans? Nope. He sounds great. No, because I can still edit with me. I can still edit with my arm. I can still edit without my arms. Again, it's just very. So having a computer is still. If I've still got something to edit on, at this point I might as well have. No, I'd rather have, if I had no use of my arms but a computer that I could edit on. That would actually be preferable to having to the situation I've got now, which is arms and no computer, because I can't do anything. He used to be a correspondent in Afghanistan, Ukraine. He now runs a podcast behind. Okay, never heard of him. Forgive. By the way, I realise that I'm normally surly and rude, and generally an obnoxious prick in these streams anyway. But just understand that today I mean it a little bit more than I normally do. Did I wash it? No, sorry. Is the smell bothering you? Sorry, Dad. Would you like me to? Would you want me to make me bed as well? Can I wash it? Yeah. Dude, if you take it to the repair shop, they don't go through your fucking. Like, I mean, I would if I worked in a computer repair shop. I fucking would go through everyone's fucking private shit. Like, I would totally. Yeah, they don't need to. They don't even need to. Or here's a tip, Ben. Just, learn the art of discreet labeling. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? Do you think they're going to fucking? Do you think they're going to say, "Oh, what a weirdo! He's got pornography on his computer." What kind of fucking homo has? What kind of weirdo has that? In fact, I think it's funnier to test to see how professional the people in your local workshop are, to make it as blatant and obvious as possible. Put it in a giant folder, a massive icon with my fucking porno written on it, and then see if they say anything. So you're on your phone. I fucking hope so, mate. That's the only option I've got left. Sorry about the computer. That's okay, mate. Weren't your fault. It ain't dead yet. So it ain't over till it's over. Maybe you did, and if you did, fair play to you, because I didn't notice. And I live in a one-room bedsit on my own. So clearly your talents are wasted, my friend. Yeah, maybe you are right behind me, but I mean, I don't really care. I mean, if anything, you've kind of just wasted your journey. If I'd known there was someone else in here, I wouldn't have started a show. What are you drawing? I'm drawing. Do you remember? Did you see one of my early drawings of Slipknot? It was from the 2002 mask. 1 second. Yeah, 1 second, mate. Anyway. All right, mate. Cheers, mate. Oh, yeah, you go. Sure. Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. Sorry. Where was I? Yes, I did a 2002 Slipknot mask portrait. It's like, and am I still planning on becoming? I'm miles away from that, mate. Trouble is, at the moment, is finding somewhere. Is finding a place that can take me on, because what I've got to do is, if I wanted to get into tattooing, I need to. Well, first of all, realistically, what I need to do is I need to expand my artistic skill set, because it's all very well and good being able to do stuff like this, but that's all I can do. I mean, if someone comes in and says, "Can I design them like a sort of a specific a band or a symbol or a logo or a fucking like that," then I'm but the other thing is, you've got to find someone who's willing to take you on and train you up, and it's I mean, it's for free. It's like you don't get to I won't get paid for it, but it's finding someone who's sorry, I'm just excuse me, I'm just taking out my AirPods. second generation and putting them into their charging case. Yeah. I mean, I'll show you what it looks like now. It's that's what I got so far. For those of you who are Slipknot fans, that is Corey Taylor, and that is the arm of the. Yeah, they use stencils and transfer. Well, they use stencils and transfers to put the design on, but the designs aren't always pre-made. I mean, a lot of people, if you want to sort of like, anyone can do that, but you've still got to be able to. If you want to be sort of be a proper tattoo artist, I mean that's not really that's a tattooist. If you want to be a tattoo artist, then you've got to really sort of like I went like the geezer who did that on my hand, or on my arm. He did that freehand, like no pattern or anything. Right? I mean and I couldn't draw a snake, a Japanese sleeve with a giant snake on it. I don't do. I could copy a giant snake, but yeah. Well, I said it's finding someone who's able to take you on. There's several tattooists in this town, but I mean, it's weird how many tattooists there are now. I mean, there are 3 within about 200. There's one about 5 doors down there. There's one across the street, and there's one literally just round the corner. I'm sure there's probably more, but and that's in. This is a poxy little town. See, I question whether or not you need, like, this is the thing about, it's so, like, because like, you're gonna get reamed financially for, like, when you go for because like it's you're saying goodbye to a lover, so they know they can charge anything. But the way I look at it is like, if there's a dead body laying around, right, as long as you don't, it doesn't bother you, then it's like, I'm not paying these fees. I'll tell you what, I will leave this fucking thing here until you can't stand it and you're going to have to bury it. If we all said, no, I'm not paying £10,000 for a coffin. There is no cinema. There is a cinema, but they don't show, like, they don't show the sort of the latest films that are out. They'll show, like, Ponzi. It's one of those Ponzi places, one of those strokey beard. I've also got on the floor, I've got this problem now at the moment, which is a bit like, which is very similar to what I have with YouTube, where, like, when I started drawing, I would do a drawing, then I'd finish it. But now, I get to this point where I start a drawing, I get partially way through it, and then I get bored and want to do something else. So I've actually got like 7 on at the moment. I'm actually on the floor at the moment. That one of Richie and Eddie behind me. I'm currently in the process of doing the A0 version, which is just there. So that's on the floor in front of me. I've got this Slipknot one here on the go. I've got another A2 one which is nearly finished, which is a collage of Nicolas Cage's face, which is all you need, really. I mean, what more do you want in life? Then is there a greater thing for one to commit to immortalise? but I've slowly started. I finally started doing like I'm starting to sort of going to start now introducing more colour into them. In fact, I did one that was full colour. You won't recognise this, but this was a friend of mine who's an artist, and she sent me a piece of her artwork and asked me to reproduce it, and it's that there. That says "Please love me, internet," but that's it's pretty close to her one, and the one but I got like all my fancy, like these are my expensive fancy markers that I haven't really I've barely used it, but I've got all the bastards in there, and going to start finally using them. Fine, don't talk. See if I fucking care. Just sit there, you know. Your dad, it cost you $4,000, but set £200 for a coffin, and they set fire to the bastard. I could set my dad on fire for fucking less than that. Get a fucking. I could do that. I should do that. I should do like a sort of backstreet fucking crematorium. No one's posting. Ben, shut the fuck up. You can't help yourself, can you? It's fucking like, it's like. You're trying your best. Well, your best. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. Name that film. It's weird. It sucks because you're physically not there. I don't know what do you mean by physically not there. Why post Royal Mails? Royal Mail's not shit. Okay then, Dan, you take a fucking letter to piss in Scotland. You get a letter and send it to bloody America for £5 on your own back. Well, you can't. Dude, you don't know what's wrong with it. Dude, I've got some professionals looking at it. It's in a computer repair shop. Stop worrying about my computer. I've done enough of that. How is Royal Mail shit? Like, I mean, I don't. Do you know who's shit? Fucking those. The delivery service, those courier services that aren't Royal Mail, like Hermes or fucking Parcelforce, they're fucking shit. Christ almighty. They literally come up to the door, they go, and then they run away. My birthday last year, a friend of mine bought me a pack of those markers, and it took Hermes 2 weeks to fucking finally deliver them to her. They're not okay, they're shite. Like they kept going, they kept saying, oh yeah, we're there, we're on our way. And like, I was standing here, I was literally standing by the door. I heard the faintest, like just that, And I walked to the door, which is there, so it was about 3 seconds, and the cunt had already was already halfway down the steps around the corner. Well, Jesus Christ, dude. Amazon are quite good, actually. Do you know what the thing about Amazon that I like is that they you get like a GPS map thing. So when your thing's being delivered, you can literally see it's like down the road. I had a great one day because I was standing there, and there's a long road there, and then it literally says your delivery is 2 stops away, and it was about 200 yards down the road. And then it was like, right, it's on its way, and I literally stood there with my GPS and watched the van go and fuck off. And then I watched it on the map going all the way, it went all the way around the houses. I had to call them because they went, yeah, he missed it. I'm like, well, I was literally stood outside my front door. I mean, there are lots of things people can moan about in this day, but moaning about the fucking post office is like, okay, what are your alternative? Well, sometimes they deliver it to my favourite. I mean, my favourite one is when they literally just say, like, they literally just leave it out on your step. Yeah, but I mean, your wheelie bin's quite safe, though, isn't it? I mean, as long as it's not like covered in mouldy old food or anything. I mean, it's like your wheelie bin's actually a safer place because how many people are going to go scouring through your fucking wheelie bin? I had one geezer once, fucking job's worth. I was sat outside waiting for the fucking parcel to arrive, and the guy arrives, and I went, you're at Amazon. I'm literally sat on my step. I went, I was at Amazon delivery. I went, yeah, that's for me. And he went, what's your name? I'm like, what? You think I'm just sat here? Like, do you think I just sit on this random step because I somehow knew there was going to be a fucking Amazon delivery? Because that's what I do. I've just been sat out here biding my time. Because law of averages, if you wait outside someone's house long enough, an Amazon parcel is going to arrive. Why would I need to scour through my bin? But you didn't have to scour through it, did you? It was just in the bin, wasn't it? It was on the top. You know, it's not like he put it underneath 17 bags, was it? You know, someone like that. What you mean is, Dan, is that you are someone. That's you. Right. So the guy didn't even leave a note saying, because normally they've left a note when they've left it in one of my bins. Can you visualize things really well? Can I visualize things? I don't know how you mean. They ran over your package. that's just funny. Yeah, how good are you? Well, no, that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the point I've been getting at, Rugged, is that I can I can copy stuff. I can draw pictures that already exist in pretty much one style at the moment, which is the black and white style that I normally do. But I can't draw. I can't sort of saying that I haven't really tried too much. I mean, I you know, it's but I mean, but if you were to say to me, can I, you know, if I had to take something and depends what you were thinking of really, but something complicated and draw that, and then I'd struggle. Well, it depends what style you do it in. I mean, you know, it's like, you know, if you're doing like a really simple cartoon or like a very simple animation, then like, and I mean like sort of South Park simple. Yeah, but it was easy to draw, is my point, mate. I'm not talking about. We're not talking about animation. We're talking about drawing something original. I mean, originally, I mean the original whole idea, the whole original sort of reason for me starting to learn how to draw was because I ultimately wanted to see was to try and sort of write and create a sort of graphic novel / comic book thing about like creating based on like the brother Neuro alter ego. It was going to be like a sort of origin story. It was kind of, yes, but they drew the fucking thing. Jesus Christ, Richard, why are you arguing this point? I'm not saying that stop. We're not talking about animation. They had to draw the fucking characters to cut them out, didn't they? I do know how stop animation bloody works. Actually, my War Corps cartoon was one of my favourite things I've ever drawn. It was just too good. Well, no, he can talk. He can talk normally. He just has to concentrate. He just shouts the word rape, fuck, and cunt for the rest of the. Richard, would you stop banging on about stop? No one's talking about that. I was talking about the simplicity of the drawings. Not the process of creating the animated cartoon. Yes, South Park were fucking amazing. They did stop motion animation. Fucking whoopty pissing bastard do. Can we? Of course, the simplicity of South Park now is that, you know, is actually to its advantage, because now it's all done with computers, and now that's why they can do an episode in a week, which is why, you know, they can do, despite being a cartoon, they can actually make very topical episodes about stuff that's happened very recently, and no other cartoon can do that. Thus, we're going to sit here and talk about legends in stop motion, then you've got to say Nick Parks. That motherfucker spent 10 years making the first episode of Wallace and Gromit. Could you imagine that? 10 years on one half-hour cartoon. Now, Wallace and Gromit is amazing, but I'm just talking about the fact that I'm just talking about spending the patience and the discipline to spend 10 years. I would happily, I'd happily look up. Here's a tip: if anyone's fucking, if you're that bothered about it, why don't you look up on Wikipedia or look up somewhere what the animation process for the earlier South Parks do it, because I'm sure it will say somewhere. Wallace and Gromit shit. How can you so? Jesus, you're a miserable bastard. How can you not like Wallace and Gromit? What the hell's wrong with Wallace and Gromit? It's fucking amazing. I mean, you're welcome to think that. I mean, you're wrong, but I mean, you know. Right, the first episode, shorts and the pilot. Yeah. Well, let's be honest, the first episode, the pilot and the first episode. I mean, the first episode is the pilot, though, isn't it? It's too whimsical. You prefer down-to-earth stories. Okay. In that movie, in the Wallace and Gromit, in the Weir Rabbit movie, that they did the Curse of the Weir Rabbit. There's that one section. There's that one bit where the rabbit transforms into the Weir Rabbit, and it's and on screen it's about 1.5 seconds, but you see its leg go from claymation turning into hair. Right? It took them 2 years to do that one, because they had to put each individual hair in down the entire leg. Can you imagine that, doing that for a fucking living? That's your job. What did you do today? For 2 whole fucking years, all you did was stick hairs into a plasticine leg. Hold on, he said. You're writing an essay about Akira. Wow. God, I saw Akira when I was like, fucking what, 14? Didn't understand a pissing thing that was going on. For what the fucking hell was that? I mean, I knew it was good, but I just like don't have a clue what's going on. I actually was writing last night about, I've nearly finished my script for like one of me bigger videos that was meant to be the videos I was doing whilst I was waiting for this last video. It's destroyed my computer. course not. You were 14. There's nothing wrong with being. It doesn't mean you can't understand something. You know, people who are 14 can understand complicated things. You know. I'll be honest. I was really just half not paying attention. You know. I mean, the people I borrowed it off were fucking 14, so they. I bet you, but that's not actually what happened. They used a mechanism of walked inside. So okay, so I got that wrong. I'm wrong, if that's what you, if that matters much. For the first time since 1983. There you go. Cunt. Fuck off, Lewis. What are you doing here? You were too depressed to fucking talk earlier. You can't just come in here. That's Asperger's for you. You haven't got Asperger's. Quote Johnny Vegas, I was tested for autism as a kid, and they found out it was just all the other kids that didn't want to talk to me. So you have to do the Asperger's joke. That is literally about, like, what, 15 years old. Hans Asperger. Yeah, well, you know, it's a good job his name wasn't Hans Mc... You know, it's a good job his name wasn't Spunky the paedophile, really, isn't it? That would be a hell of an embarrassment. Cunting von McBaby Rape or something. Imagine that, though. Imagine naming a fucking illness after yourself. Like, oh god, what a fucking what a legacy. Like, it's one of those the joke that South Park wrote that I'm sick of, because it's become the sort of like template for someone who doesn't know. Like, every time there's an election, you'll get some arsehole going, oh, it's a choice between a turd sandwich and a douche. Oh wow, how did you come up with that one, fucking Gore Vidal? What an insightful fucking biting analysis. Brilliant. I don't think they called elephantiasis of the cock a certain disease. I think it's just still elephantiasis. But it's not the disease you want on your cock, quite frankly. It's not pleasant. I mean, even the Elephant Man didn't have elephantiasis on his cock. I mean, to be fair, he didn't even have elephantiasis, but, you know, that's I've read a lot of books about Joseph Mengele, mate. It's fucking hard to joke about that, quite frankly. Fucking, oh Christ! If you want a really depressing read a book about. I mean, Joseph Mengele was nicknamed the Angel of Death by his friends. Like that's how people called him. Like, that was his nickname. like Nobby or fucking, you know, or Pervy or Pervy Steve or whatever. It was like, oh, it's the angel of death. Morning, you know. Yeah, he was doing the human centipede fucking 70 years before the fucking human centipede was a thing. I don't have a favourite Nazi. I mean, you know, top 5 maybe, but in no particular order. Depends how much you know about the Nazis, really. I do object on certain grounds that people still, when I read books and watch documentaries about him, people still refer to Joseph Mengele as doctor, and the stuff he did as experiments. I'm like, really? I'll just give you an idea. One of Mengele's experiments, there was a Jewish woman who was pregnant. She was in the camps, and she was in the hospital part, if you want to call it that. And she gave birth to her baby. And what they then did was they took that baby and they put it in a room, put it on a table, shut the door, and left it there until it died, because they wanted to know how long a baby would survive once removed from the mother's womb. They just let a baby starve and dehydrate to death. Now, you can call that an experiment if you want, but I fail to see what application that this. I don't even know. I can't even remember, and I don't want to know, because it doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, I know what they did. Well, he also sewed children together. He also, like, I talked about some of this stuff in the racist website Safari Hunt 5. Those fucking dwarfs that got off scot-free. That's not. No, it is just sadism. It's not sadism. It's murder, isn't it? Really. It's murdering a baby, because the objective was to kill the baby. It was just to see how long did it take before the baby died. Which I don't know why they couldn't have just, if they had to do that, couldn't they have just waited till like it's like, it ain't got long left, let's feed the bastard, and just, you know, couldn't they have, you know, did they have to wait right till the end, you know? Yeah, but I think Mengele's different. Mengele was always like that. It's Mengele was less a product of the dehumanization of the Jews by the Nazis than he was just, you know. Well, have you ever seen that film Men Behind the Sun? About some of the fucking experiments the Japanese did. Oh, fuck me. Even in the films, they look nasty. Was ever able to reproduce. You're trying to make this a thing, and stop trying to make it a thing, because I haven't really been paying attention. You say that, but that chicken, you know, it's the most famous porno chicken. I mean, you know, and it can't have been that good, because there's been no other fucking. Yeah. It can't have been too popular. Doncaster Railway, I'd be on that shit, mate. You don't know what you're going to fucking see. Doncaster? Hey, it's got a dong in it. Lucky omen. Has anyone seen the old porno? The old porno. You know that's not a porno. That's a cartoon. Based on the Hans Christian Andersen book, you know, to my knowledge. The porno version. How do I know you're not referring to the? Actually, it wasn't animation. It was stop motion. Was there porn? I know that the first porn was there porn in 1910. I know the first ever porn film officially was called What the Butler Saw or something like that. I can't remember. You know, I mean, the first ever pornographic images were literally taken the evening after the evening of the day that the first ever camera was invented. I know that. Literally, the geezers made the camera, and then that night they went to the pub with their camera, and then got the barmaid to get her tits out. You know. Which she did, you know. Shortly after that, the feminist anti-porn movement was spawned. You know a lot more about this than I do, no? Yeah. Name, Baldrick. Occupation, oh, I'm a nun. My dad was a nun. How do you know? What do you mean? Well, any time my dad was in court, the judge would say occupation and my dad would say nun. Well, no, there was a whole TV show called The Mary Whitehouse Experience. God bless her, Mary Whitehouse. I think it was Newman and Medill. It was a comedy show by Rob Newman, David Medill, Paul Newman. They tried to make me go to rehab, but I said no. No. No, I haven't. Dude, there's too much wrestling on as there is. I can't handle another hour a week. You think it's weird, the first pornos, you think they would have been called things like Coitus, what, Part 1. The missionary position, but man and woman in bed, Part 6. Because you never see Part 1. I've never seen Part 1 of a porno. It's always something like, you know, Spunk Battered Nuns 12 or something like that. I like Jasper Carrot. I was actually watching a load of old Jasper Carrot not that long ago. Hey, fuck it. You know, if his audience are happy with their old material, fucking why write new stuff? When you say that, I mean, look at what, you know, Monty Python did that gig at the fucking O2 Arena a couple of years ago. Look, you know, they didn't do anything fucking new. It was the fucking parrot sketch and the, you know. At least he asks the audience. Well, at least he's done it. And to be fair to Jasper Carrot, at least he's done it. He probably struggles to find new audience. So it's probably just, you know. I always thought The Detectives was an underrated series. Python timeless. Well, I mean, that's, you know, matter of opinion. It's still the same old shit, isn't it? if you come to a point where you run out of the ability, well, I mean, there's no reason why you should, you know. I mean, you're not going to lose the ability to come up with new material. It's just whether or not you can be bothered, or you want to. I mean, right, well, that's your own fault for going for a wank in the cinema, quite frankly. His daughter was in the office, we do know. Fortunately, she clearly takes after her mother in the looks department. Didn't she know that? I don't know. Look it up, mate. I would look it up, but guess what? I can't. Too successful. Okay, define. Okay, I don't know what that means. Too successful. How on earth could someone possibly be too successful? I mean, there's lots of comedians who are highly successful. They still write lots of material. George Carlin was doing stand-up shows for... He did stand-up shows for over 50 fucking years. Yeah, but there's no reason why you have to lose. So you don't have to lose. It depends what you're talking about. You don't have to be in touch with the common man to fucking talk about certain issues, can you? You know. I mean, me being skint doesn't mean that I've got my finger on the pulse more. You know. There's lots of comedians who are very successful, but still. Yeah, but what if their stand-up isn't about the real world? I mean, not all comedy is steeped in reality, is it? You know, I mean, there's lots of comedians who, you know, Eddie Izzard, he still does stand-up. You know, Lee Evans did stand-up for, like, you know, up until about, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, and you got, you know, like I said, George Carlin did stand-up until he was in his fucking late 70s. Stuart Lee's been doing stand-up since the fucking mid-80s. But also, if you know, if you lose touch with the common man, that doesn't mean you can't make jokes about that. You know, this was one of the, you know, you could just be, you know, there's loads of comedians who get accused of that, but they still seem to do quite well out of it. It's whether there's an audience there, really. I mean, that's all you can judge. So that's all a comedian can really go on. Not necessarily. I mean, I don't have kids, but doesn't mean I can't do. Yeah, well, there you go then. I mean, yeah, but he was still successful, wasn't he? I mean, whether he took painstaking steps to stay grounded, he was still successful, wasn't he? He was still one of the most successful comedians of all time. Ricky Gervais was never a stand-up comedian before he did The Office. His first stand-up show, Animals, which he did in 2002, at the point when he started touring, he literally just started doing stand-up. So no, he didn't. I mean, he does like it will do smaller clubs than that to practice new material and try stuff out. But he didn't do it like the way I did it. You know, he didn't do like Steve Merchant did. Stephen Merchant was always a stand-up. But yeah, Ricky Gervais just decided to do stand-up. You know, in the 2000. I mean, at the point when his first DVD came out, Animals, he had been doing stand-up less than me. I've been doing stand-up longer than him. Like, he'd been doing it for about 18 months. Yeah, but comparing as an entertainment manager, mate, I've done that. That's not stand-up. First of all, compares don't have to be that funny. You know, he does that, but I mean, he wasn't like. Most of his stuff that he'd done would have been, if anything, had been written, but yeah. I don't know who Nish Kumar is, mate, so I can't give you. He's a cunt. I know. Probably. Yeah. I don't know why you're talking about Ayn Rand. I must have missed something. I actually think you know, I mean, his stand-up is nowhere near his strongest stuff. I mean, you know, but the stuff he has done, I actually think some of his earlier stuff was better than it. He's actually someone who's got. He's actually got less. He's actually got. He's not say he's got worse, but he just hasn't really improved from, or you know, progressed from what he was doing 20 years ago. But then who the fuck am I to knock him? This is it. He got Netflix paid him £50 million to fucking do one gig. So who am I to fucking criticise, really? But yes, I did hear that. Yeah, it's just, you know, that was today's hashtag, not the onion. The problem with Ricky Gervais as sitcoms is you realise that, you know, he's pretty much, all of the characters he writes are pretty much all the same. You know, like, I mean, The Office is excellent. You know, I really enjoyed Extras, but then you go through them and it's like he always seems to be playing the same kind of character. You know, it's just slightly in a slightly different context, you know. But I mean, The Office is an excellent show. I mean, this is the thing, because I mean, Ricky Gervais is like, this is the kind of thing that annoys me about Ricky Gervais. Is he is bloody talented. He's a really good actor, and he's a really good writer, and he's got an incredibly huge amount of natural charisma, and you know, he doesn't have to. He's very effortless. It's just all the fucking whinging about, you know, martyr complex that he fucking has to put onto it, like he's doing something incredibly radical or different. It's like, you're not. It's like, you know, sorry, taking the piss out of religion is not fucking. It is not a big deal anymore, you know. I was watching his was it Politics stand-up show, and there's a story he tells in that just fucking has me howling. It's the bloke who gets on the train. It's the guy who's waiting for a train, and he farts and follows through and shits himself. So he quickly, he's got 10 minutes till his train, so he goes over to the fucking nearest, there's a Millets across the street, so he squelches over there, says, quick mate, Levi's, 36, gets a bag, grabs a bag, pays for it, gets on the train, gets in the toilet, takes his pants and trousers down, sticks them out the window, washes himself up, opens up the bag, and it turns out it's a jacket. I don't believe it's a true story for a second, but it was fuck it. The way he tells it is really funny. You ever seen a train toilet or window? Yeah. That's why I don't believe it's true. You just wouldn't do it. The story doesn't make sense. It might have happened to you, but it doesn't mean it's the same story he's telling. Most stories stand-up comedians you should never believe anything a comedian says is true. Most of the time, the stuff they're saying, and particularly if they make a point of saying, this is a true story, this actually literally happened, then that's almost certain that they're fucking lying. But you've got to remember, a comedian's obligation is not to tell the truth, it's to make you laugh. And even if that means tricking you into thinking they're telling the truth. So we're coming along now. There's the clown. See what? It's getting there. It's take fucking ages, this one. Oh. I do remember that Billy Connolly joke about it goes, you didn't know why are there no windows in airplane toilets? It's not as if anybody's going to see it unless you've got the most determined pervert in the world strapped to the side of the plane. Of course, you realise it's because the toilets are in the middle of the fucking plane. It's a jobby weaker. Fine, don't talk then. Fuck you. Can you use the toilet when the plane is on the ground? No. Don't think so. Why would you want to? I mean... Favourite comedy panel show? To be honest, they all kind of blend into one now. I do always rate Have I Got News For You. I know it's been going for fucking ever, but I was watching some of the... In its day, it was I'm not a massive fan of the panel shows though. I've got some gold pants. I've got them already. They're over there. I've got gold pants, gold jacket, gold shoes. I've got the entire, I call it the Chav Cedo. No trousers. Yeah, trousers. I've got the trousers. Sorry, if you meant pants, I thought that's what you meant when you said pants. I've got the I meant trousers. I thought that's what you meant when you said pants. I never really watched much of Mock the Week. I'd say it's toothless. I mean, it was just really. I mean, Mock the Week was just really a more sort of mainstream, but a sort of lighter version of Have I Got News for You? And the only real bits that had any fucking controversy to them was when Frankie Boyle occasionally said something, and that was it. Because that's how, because offensive. I mean, shocking comedians are like black comedians. TV companies will only hire like one at a time. You can't have too many. New show? What? I mean, TV show? No, but Harry Hill's stand-up was the one show he did was absolutely incredible. I loved it. It was so different. He's so clever. To get an Olex coloured suit, you go on like, dude, you can go on like, what's it called? What's the one I go on? Lightinabox.com. You'll find that's where I got all this crap. Yeah, you can get it really cheap. Yeah. The UN, of course they have. That's just you making excuses. Are you guys still in winter time? It's fucking freezing. It's not only is it cold out there, it's cold and it's raining and it's grey and it's a little bit windy. It's fucking horrible. It'd probably look quite snazzy. It'd be a bugger if you pulled though, wouldn't it? Because how are you going to get all that off? How are you going to put it back on?
You know? Okay, that's absolute bollocks, Richard. Richard, are you a political satirist? Because I happen to be one. And the idea that you can't do political satire is absolute nonsense. You can always do you can always do anything. There's plenty of political satirists out there who seem to be doing quite well. But Spitting Image was never really mainstream in the first place, you know, to be fair. I mean, Spitting Image, to be honest with you, is a show that probably a lot of people don't even fucking remember watching. Yeah, but that's the whole point, though, mate. I mean, there's nothing you can't do. There's always a way. You know, there's plenty of, you know, nothing is impossible when we're talking about creating some sort of a creative process or an artistic process. There's nothing that. No, again, no. That's the thing. Well, that's why you need it more than ever, mate. You know, you just need someone who can take it and, you know, and do something new with it. You know. You just can't do it. You know, it's if anything, it makes it more of a challenge, and therefore the ones who are, you know, it will sort out the ones who are. You know, it will sort out the ones who are just, you know, doing it because it's easy and just sort of basically repeating stuff that's actually already happened. Which, to be fair, that's been happening since George W. Bush was in power. Versus people who are actually able to do something new with it. You know. The free market will decide. Indeed. Satire can be a weapon, or so can anything. Well, satire should be a weapon. I mean, it's done right. It's making a point. You know. That's why I have a bit of a stick up my arse when I see people using it as an excuse to get out of fucking, when they're called out for something fucking stupid they've said. They go, oh, it's satire. I'm like, of what? Well, no, all satire should. I mean, you know. Well, I mean, if it's crap satire, then the odds are it hasn't got that. Then it's not really. You're probably not going to have heard of it. I mean, I'm struggling to think of, you know. Hey, Big D, haven't seen you in a while, my man. Could you PayPal me some money so I can get a new computer? Cheers, Don. Ugh. I haven't seen old Donald in here in a while. It feels like it anyway. Quid pro quo, exactly. Quid pro quo. As in, give me 50 quid. You can think of two terrible right-wing satirists. Right, well, good for you. Okay, Bill Maher's not right. I wouldn't call Bill Maher right-wing. I also wouldn't call Bill Maher a satirist. I don't see what satire he's ever done. I mean, he talks about current affairs, but that's not satire. Never heard of that first guy, and the guy everyone makes fun of on Twitter. Well, he must be great then. Are these just random people? I mean, are they actually satirists, or are these just people who claim to be, or who you are? That would be quite cool, yeah. I'd dig up some dirt on Joe Biden for 1,000 quid. Yeah. I mean, granted, it wouldn't be true, but then I imagine probably neither will the stuff he comes up with. Shapiro's not a satirist. I don't know on what planet he's supposed to be a satirist. I mean, oh. I mean, if he is a satirist, if he is like a left winger just fucking around, and this is a character he's created, he's bloody good, you know. Yeah, but to be honest, that's an easy thing to have a go at. The great thing about Ben Shapiro is there's so many legitimate reasons to have a fucking to not like him, you know. That his height, I'm going to do this. I'm going to the ground now, so I'm going to go back to this one. Ugh. Did you know that Joe Biden had his bottom ribs taken out so he could suck his own dick? There you go. And he used to play Paul from the Wonder Years. Yeah, but the sort of problem I have is, like, if they want to act like that, that's fine. I don't give a shit. But the sad thing about it is that they'll sit there and say that, you know, talk about, you know, being edgy in counterculture, and then they'll talk about this demand for civilized debate, or they'll talk about, you know, things like degenerates on the left who do this, and I'm like, you can't have it both ways, you know, unless you're into that, you know. But yeah, well, I don't know why. There's no point getting rid of it. It won't make any difference. It just really, you know, I never condone people flagging things just for the sake of it, you know. I don't flag, you know. I never flag anything, you know. That just, you know, really plays into what Donald Trump. Do I know the minstrel boy? I don't know what you're talking about. Have you just realised this, Lewis? You said that with almost... You said that with an almost, you know, bizarre level of incredulity. Yeah, well, I'm not going back on there. Even if I could go back on Twitter, I wouldn't go back. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's probably the best thing that happened to me this year was getting banned from that site. It's amazing how much better and how much less absolute bullshit invades your life when you get off that fucking. And you also realise how what a spectacular waste of time it really is. I'll be honest, I didn't know for the longest time what POTUS and SCOTUS meant when people referred to it. No, not Facebook. Facebook's fine. Every time I do, basically every time I do one of these live streams, I'll get someone come in here and go, "Oh, have you seen this latest drama with so-and-so?" I'm like, no. Because it's literally a drama that you have to be on Twitter to know about. And it's like, no, didn't know about that, don't care. You hate Mark Zuckerberg? Okay, I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg. I'm just. I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that Mark Zuckerberg doesn't really care. You're going to call him out. To be fair, mate, you know, I mean, you're welcome. I mean, if you're going to make it, make it. I mean, he won't watch it, and it's not going to. You know, you'll probably get a few more views on it if it's got his name in the title, but unless your video gets like 500,000 views, it's not really gonna, you know, calling him out is a little bit, you know. God, how many videos have I pissing well made about that cunt? I think H Bomber Guy was the first time I ever saw him even fucking acknowledge someone else's video. When Ari tore him apart a couple of years ago. But that's only because it got so many fucking views. Ugh. Ugh. It can do. It depends how. Depends what sort of marker you're using. But wouldn't make sense using charcoal on paper. That'd be kind of. You have to put that on canvas. The problem with these big ones is these giant pictures is like 90% of it is just colouring in. It's fucking drives you mad. I've got through 2 Sharpies already just on this. I'm not even halfway through it. Fuck off, Dawson. What does it say? Are you bored or did you only use your computer for your work time? Dawson, could you, like, you know, fuck off? Right? Yeah. Fucking moron. No, Ben's been all right, yeah. No, I don't think it's fair to call Dawson a troll. It's hard to tell. I think I'm getting the distinct impression he's unfortunately completely and utterly genuine. Yeah, but Ben's, you know, since learned to calm down. You know, he got taken over by PCMO. And the guy who was in the last stream last week Alexander Roach, who I ended up kicking out. I didn't ban him, I just booted him out of the room because he was being an absolute fucking insane knob. And he was driving me fucking mad. And I have the distinct feeling that he's actually Jason Dunn. The fact he didn't come in yesterday, it's kind of telling. Yeah, I've done that before, Gyro, but that's in the past. You know, he's not. You know, he can still annoy me, but no, it did, Ben. I've literally threatened to fucking I've literally threatened to come and kill. Told you I'm going to find out where you live and come and fucking kill you several times. Yeah. No, I like the guy. They've been fun. There's only been a couple of them recently. I had a great one yesterday. I had a geezer come in called Is It Lucky, and he said, you better watch your back, Sud, because you've been getting gobby with nationalists, and we're watching. We're watching you. I'm like, great. I'm like getting my views up. And then I said to him, and I didn't kick him out. I just said to him, you know, if you like, I could give you my address, because then I won't have to watch my back. You can come around my house and face me, man. You know, and we can settle our differences face to face, like men. And he didn't reply. I'm like, kind of says it all, really, doesn't it? Something to do with full of courage. I mean, I just love the fact that that guy thinks that I haven't been threatened before. It's like, dude, I've been doing this. I was doing this for like more, 10 years before I was even on YouTube. It's like, do you not think I've had some idiot? I mean, God, I got over 1,000 death threats in about a week earlier this year with that whole Tommy Robinson drama, you know. What if Hitler wasn't racist? He just had the most extreme type of OCD. Yeah. Now I say that as sort of like, as obviously a joke, but you say they never understand it, but I think they did. The fact that they left. That's my favourite thing now. Is like I rarely block people or ban people these days. I just sit here, and they will leave when they realise I'm not good. Because they come in here. They come in here deliberately to get booted out, so they can then go and brag about how they got fucking, they well triggered this fucking SJW guy. They fucking banned him, and because to them it's a badge of honour to get kicked out of somewhere. I don't know. do hope you're joking when you say that. I can't tell anymore. And to be fair, I think it was, I think racism is more geared towards all brown people, not just the dirty ones. I mean, the clean ones as well. Yeah, but does it really matter, Firemoth? Aren't you really just sort of nitpicking at this stage? Aren't you? No, isn't it? Can't we just say none of them were particularly? They were all, how can we say, a bit dodgy? Can we not just? Even the best of them was the worst. You know. You saw Ben wrestling $1 away from a homeless man. He's Scottish. You know. That's just the way Scottish people are, mate. You know. Copper wire was invented by two Scotsmen arguing over a penny. The Scottish bloke, he dropped a £1 coin. He bent down to pick it up and it hit him on the back of the head. Yeah. You can just see now, I've added to that one, you can just see Eddie's eyes coming in there. Yeah. Did you get your PC fixed? It's in the shop now, mate. I don't know whether it's going to get fixed. We don't know at this stage. I'll know if I don't know by the end of today. I'll know by Monday. You could do, but I was doing jokes about the Scottish. Okay, I don't know that. I've never heard that one before, Brexit. How do you get 50 Pakistanis into a Mini? I've no idea, but they manage it, don't they? I mean, like I said, they're going to try and fix it. If they can't fix it, they're just going to completely wipe everything off it. So it will be literally like everything. They're going to delete everything to see if they can get it work that way. And if it works, then it's going to cost me about 75 quid, which is fine. I can. Like I said, I won't know till either later today or Monday. If it turns out they can't do it, then I've got to go. There's a shop literally just over the other side of the road there that does like second-hand refurbished laptops and shit. So I can go and there. I just need something basic, just need something to get. If I somehow managed in the next few days to get a very generous PayPal donation, I could even get a refurbished all-in-one desktop from that place. They do like some of there, but that's like I said, no one, don't know so far. You like how Scottish girls, right? Okay. I dated a Scottish girl once. I'm sure they'd be quite happy to Because every time I try and stop drawing, I realise I can't. Normally, my instinct is to go to my computer, but it's not there. Tell you what, you don't have to. It's fucking hell. It's like it feels so weird not having. For all the moaning you do about the fucking internet and social media and all that stuff, you don't half notice it when it's gone. You're like, Jesus Christ. Well, I got these things the other day. Carolina Reaper flavoured cheese curls. Fuck, you can only eat about like 2. My phone's on the internet. Oh. You grow actual Carolina Reapers. Wow. Back in 2015, I did a charity show, and you were supposed to do something. You're supposed to sort of like come up with an incentive to get people to donate in your hour. And so I said, if we get $1,000 in my hour, I will snort a teaspoon of Carolina Reaper chili sauce. And wouldn't you know it, we did. And I snorted some Carolina Reaper chili sauce, and it felt like my eyes had gonorrhea. Is the only way I can really describe it. It wasn't fun at all. It was one of the absolute stupidest fucking things I've ever done in my life, and that is quite a high bar. I'm sure you can appreciate. I've still got the bottle of chili sauce. I bought it about 4 years ago in Brighton, and literally, I mean, the bottle's about that big. I've used about like that much. It's barely gone past the shoulders. No, it doesn't. But it doesn't literally burn you. It doesn't burn your nose hair off. It doesn't literally. It's not like a literal like flame, or fire. It's. That's not how it works. It's the chemical in chilies, capsaicin, basically it makes it triggers some part of your brain that makes you think that your head is on fire. That's all. No, it's the same thing. It won't burn your fucking. It's not a literal. I mean, the chili sauce. Actually, chili sauces that are made out of chili are actually generally a lot not as hot. The peppers are always going to be hotter. Oh look, someone's been on Wikipedia. Well, I mean, the worst way you can consume spicy stuff is through is when when people put it in liquid and drink it, because it doesn't go in your mouth. It just goes all the way straight down to your stomach. So it doesn't disperse, you know. It just goes right down to your stomach and fucking just, you know, absolutely murders your insides. Also got some of this the other day. I got those Carolina Reaper, and I got some of this blue Pepsi, which I was informed is raspberry flavoured. And I'll be honest, and if I'm being honest, it tastes like Pepsi. There's a faint hint of fruit, but it just tastes like Pepsi. Why would I do food reviews, Ben? What's my food review going to be? I bought this blue Pepsi. It's supposed to be raspberry flavoured. It's alright. I mean, it's not exactly... Fuck off, Dawson. P-A-R-E-S. I don't know what that is. You know what else helps with constipation? Yeah. Not quitting heroin. That's always a good start. Yeah. You might have meant that, but you didn't say it. Au pairs? What, like Swedish ones? I think he meant bears. Never heard of it, don't care. It's like root beer. Well, then it's shit. Fucking hate root beer. Okay, I can live with that. Dude, you like root beer. I'm not interested in your opinion. I'd be offended if you did like me. Now, kid, now you say that now. It's too late. You're good people. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now. You can't, can't go back on it. Yeah. You said what you said. It's a testament to my part that I didn't become an alcoholic. What, because I worked in a bar? Fuck off, Dawson. Why don't you go work in a bar? It's because that's what happens, isn't it? When people work in pubs, they all become alcoholics. If that's the case, where did you work? The annoying cunt store? I don't like Dr. Pepper. I don't know what uncanny valley means. Christ, this is difficult. See, normally I turn the board, but the phone's on it, so I'm having to scooch from side to side. I think you'll find there's been plenty of alcoholics who have run bars, mate. It's more of a concern with drug dealers who get, see, I know loads of drug dealers, but they never actually sold drugs that they took. If a guy was a cokehead, he sold weed. If a guy was a pothead, he'd sell ecstasy. If a guy was Oh, I need to stop drawing. I can feel muscles in my forearm cramping up, which is bad. Your dealer smokes his own supply. Yeah. Well, he clearly, you know, is damaging his own economic stability. He would, yeah. You know what? I've never seen Friday. I've seen all the GIFs. Know most of the quotes. Never seen the film. You've never been a drug dealer. Would you want a fucking biscuit? Why is being a drug dealer reprehensible? Yeah. You're selling a product people want, you know. I don't know why Firemoth, he was clearly talking out of his arse. You sold weed and coke. Well, that's just pointless. Doing weed and coke, that would just make you feel normal, wouldn't it? Why are you fucking up people's lives? Because you're selling them drugs. What? So if you sell something, not everyone who takes drugs is fucking their life up. Also, if you're gonna, if that's the case, then what else fucks people's lives up? Yeah. Lots of things fuck people's lives up, Fast food fucks people's lives up, Pornography fucks people's lives up. The internet fucks people's lives up. Yeah, war. It's not all about you, John. No, I like the first idea, Castro. They should be sold in hop form. Just soak hops in PCP. He's gonna have to be specific. Which war? Why? Well, he doesn't mean he's not talking about the Cold War, is he? I'm a veteran of the Cold War. Yeah. Also lived through the T-Series PewDiePie war. The COD war. There was a COD war, was there? It wouldn't surprise me. Now, you wouldn't want to drink cocaine, Cocaine tastes disgusting. But if you're going to do cocaine, you don't want to be consuming anything. It's only delicious once you get it. See, it's not delicious, man. It's called addiction. It's not the most disgusting tasting drug. I mean, meth tastes fucking horrific. Ah. Oh. You don't think anyone died in the Cold War? Well, I don't need your think, Ben. Facts, bitch. Hey, look, this is the only chat room where you're going to get Fidel Castro and Donald Trump both appear in the chat, so... I think that just shows that I'm clearly, I'm clearly bringing people together, yeah. Well, you're not addicted to coffee, you're addicted to caffeine. It's not... There's one easy way to find out. Stop drinking coffee. One person died in the Cold War. Thank God for that. Thank God I know. That's not a sign of addiction, mate. Like I said, just stop taking it. And if you start twitching and getting antsy and anxious and to the point where you can't concentrate or think about literally anything else and you have to, till you've had it, then yeah, you're probably addicted. But, take some solace in the fact that there's worse things to be addicted to than caffeine. Because at least if you're going to be addicted to something, be addicted to something that's readily available and that you can afford. So one of the worst things you can have an addiction to is food. You get food addiction because that's fucking it. Because food's fucking everywhere. What's my opinion? I don't really have one, quite frankly. It's quite. I only really got caught up on all the boogie drama about a couple of months ago. To be honest with you, the guy's his own worst enemy. You know. I don't give a shit about his weight. That's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, like I just said, that's why he's asked. That's like you just said, there was some recent drama about him. There was he's been losing weight for ages. His weight is irrelevant to the fucking, the drama surrounding him. Well, it makes up a small part of it, but he got a divorce fucking ages ago as well. And from the sounds of it, turns out he's a nasty piece of shit. See, it's always the guys who everyone thinks are nice guys. See, at least with me, I never pretended to be a nice bloke. He lost weight ages ago. His weight's been down for ages. He also had his teeth done. What the fucking hell? No. I think all teeth that are like, when people have their teeth done, they always look stupid. It's like having yellow wonky teeth might not be ideal, but it looks more normal. By bullied by Anita Sarkeesian, what you probably mean is she probably mentioned him once in a tweet. And this, like everything else she's ever done, got blown out of fucking... Although, as I understand it, he when he was on a podcast, he was I can't remember which podcast it was. He literally like made a comparison between, like I think he compared Nita Sarkeesian to a Nazi, which is a bit much, really. Like, is this as bad as it's going to get? This is what we have to fear from modern day Nazis. They make YouTube videos critiquing Twilight. It's just the... I don't give a shit about whether she's a good... She never claimed to be a representative of feminists, mate, to be fair to her. She just made YouTube videos. She's just a feminist who makes YouTube videos. And to be fair, I don't find her YouTube videos that fucking interesting. I've only ever watched one. I thought, nah, not for me. was Robert Pattinson. I don't give a shit. He'll be fine. Are people still talking about Robert Pattinson playing Batman, or is that just you asking the same question that you do every fucking time I do a live stream? I don't see why it's I don't see what the irony is in saying a white man does it. You know, no one ever said she was. There's lots of things, you know. There's lots of things that certain people do better than others. It's kind of irrelevant. The fact that that's, yes, there are much better critics. You know, I think there's lots of cultural and social critics who do effectively what I think Mark Kermode pretty much does a lot. What you know, he comes from a when he critiques, and he's been doing that, and no one ever seems to give him shit, you know. But then, of course, it's easier to do that if you know, people are less inclined to give white men shit for doing the exact same thing. You right, darling? What are you looking at, eh? Do you want a carrot, darling? Do you want a carrot? I don't care what anyone says. I like Steve. I'll always like Steve. People give him a lot of shit for no fucking good reason, really, quite frankly. Oh, does Judy want a carrot? Does Judy want a carrot? There you go, darling. Hey, it's down there. There you go. There you go, sweetheart. Yes, but Gyro, she's a critic. She criticises, you know, things like video games and films and TV shows from that standpoint. Loads of people do that. To sit there and say feminist, let's not get into the gambit of letting, you know, of you determining who's a feminist or not. Are there more, you know, these things are relevant. You know, people do. This is what people do at university. They, you know, who do stuff like film, and TV. They learn they critique things from a certain political point of view because these things are relevant. They're reflective. They not only influence society, they're reflective of a society, you know. And she's not like she's the first person to do that. Loads of people do it, you know. You know, people do it. Okay, Anita has never said we need to censor. Sorry, that is a complete straw man. Saying we need to censor video games because they exploit. She's never made that claim. Sorry. Even I know that. I've even seen one of her videos at the start where she says, you know, just acknowledging that something. Yeah, but dude, you're saying she's not the best representative. What do you want me to do about it? So what? You know? Well, then promote those people. But then it's not her fault how popular she is. You know? Do you know whose fault it is that she's popular? All of the fucking nutters who obsess over her. If Gamergate hadn't have happened, If people had just like ignored her, got on with it, then that's what made her popular. Was the fact that she just made these videos and people became obsessed with her. That's not her fucking fault, you know. You know, she's just doing what doing what loads of other people have done. She seemed to fucking stir up her. Oh, don't give me that Middle East crap, Gyro. Please do not do the women in the Middle East argument. I've been through that many times. But do you know who else goes through bad things in the Middle East, right? Right, everybody, right? Do you go? When was the last time you went around talking about women in the Middle East? It's not her responsibility to talk about all, you know, saying that yes, women all around the world, there are women who suffer more than women in the West. So, you know, don't give me this Middle East crap, because that, you know, because there are men in the Middle East who suffer more than you. Do you care about them, or do you talk about them? You know, there are people who suffer all around the world worse than the subjects I talk about. We don't all talk about the most extreme of everything. Otherwise, you get into that fucking, you know, crap of like, you get into, you know, suffering. You know, we're going to start sort of like, oh, we're going to have suffering contest. You know. What about all the pricks who started things like Gamergate? Do you think people? Where's their videos about the people in the Middle East suffering, or people starving to death in fucking in Somalia or Ethiopia, or people fucking, you know, 1,000,001, or people in Syria? Where are their videos about that? You know, are we obliged to only talk about? Can we sit and go, oh, you shouldn't talk about this because there's bigger issues in the world? Well, you could say that with everyone. You know, I made a video about this to Nate Talks to You. You know, what knee-jerk reaction? Knee-jerk reaction. You're talking about knee-jerk reactions to people who criticise Sarkeesian. Have you not seen the people who criticise her? You don't think there's a need? You don't think they kind of get hysterical? Have you seen how many videos she's made compared to how many videos are made about her? It's. You don't think starting an entire movement over and obsessing over everything this woman does and turning it into like she's, you know, and turning her into the monster she is. Like I said, she's not who she is. She's not who she is because, you know, just because on the merit alone. It's because people fucking just got obsessed over her. You know, Thunderfoot. I think people like Thunderfoot and Sargon, they've made more videos about her than she has made actual videos. I wish I had that fucking. I'd like to get some advice off her. I wish I had that fucking effect. I wish I could make one video and guarantee there's going to be 1,000 fucking responses. You know, and I'm not knee-jerk reactioning anything. I'm responding to what you're saying. You know, there's been several videos I've seen critiquing, you know, critical of her that I thought were fair enough. I remember Tall Time did one. That was all right. I remember I can't remember the other one. What was it? I'll forget the cunt's name now. But I have seen where they just didn't turn it into this massive fucking thing where there's this huge conspiracy to fucking. I never said you were obsessed with her. What do you mean her ilk? You just said she was a bad representative of feminism. What do you mean her ilk? That's because she's one of the most popular names. Do you know why? It's because if you recognise or identify as a feminist, people assume you're a big Anita Sarkeesian fan. I've had people post comments on my videos and tweet things at me about Anita Sarkeesian. It's like, I don't give a shit about Anita Sarkeesian. I don't watch her videos. You know, I don't. You know, she talks about something that I'm not interested in, right? You You know, if it bothers you that much, do something about it. But you can piss and moan about it. It's like I said, it's not her fault. It's not her fault she got popular. All she did was make a couple of YouTube videos about analysing video games, and then people fucking lost their goddamn minds over it, you know? Okay, you're entitled to think that. That's fine. But, you know, lots of people, you know, she's not the only person, mate, who does videos that analyse aspects of her culture and looks at them from a certain political or ideological standpoint. There's literally thousands of people on YouTube who do that, you know? You know, I've done videos where I look at films or TV shows or, you know, I mean, God, I made a 25-minute video going in depth explaining why Dennis Reynolds from It's Always Sunny is not a serial killer. I didn't see anyone giving me shit because I wasn't talking about people in the Middle East, you know? You always change the subject and make a diversion. You're entitled to think she's an idiot, and I never said you were an anti-feminist. I'm simply addressing that that your criticism of her is, you know, you're welcome to think that. I'm just saying that your criticism of, do you know what's more important than Anita Sarkeesian, mate? Do you know your criticism of Anita Sarkeesian, I could sit here and go, do you know what's more important than that? People suffering in the Middle East. I mean, why don't we all just sit here and talk about nothing but the people in the world who are worse off than us, you know? How are those people relevant? How are they relevant? How are those people relevant? They're about as relevant as you bringing them up. They're as relevant as you bringing them up in response to Anita Sarkeesian's video. If you're going to criticise her, then criticise, you know, then actually look at the stuff she's doing, and point out where she's wrong, or where you think, you know. It seems to me your concern is with the actual subject matter, and if that's the case, then you haven't really got a criticism of her. You're not pointing out that anything she's saying is wrong or invalid. You're just saying you think she should be talking about other things, but she's not you know, there's loads of people who should be talking about other things, you know, by that standard. I don't see why she should be held to a different different standard. I don't think you're singling her out. She was, you know, we were talking about. What I'm saying, okay, what I would ask is, you know, is it only her that makes you this angry, or makes you this, winds you up this much? Because you know, that would seem a bit, that would seem a bit peculiar to me. It's all kicking off now. This is quite fun. This is fun. The problem with the first world problem, with the first world problems argument, is there's nothing more. There's not, if you want an example of a first world problem, it's sitting there having a go at people who talk about what you consider first world problems. That's a first world problem. I've just always been of the attitude that that if you think there's something that's important, worth talking about, then you should talk about it. Don't have a go. Don't sit there and expect or have a go at other people for not talking about it. That's my. It's like whenever there's drama going round that's quite big, you'll get people. You'll get people who go, oh, you'll make videos going, oh, why are we all talking about this drama? There's so much more important things in the world. I'm like, well, then fucking talk about them then. Make a video about them. Don't make a video about what everyone else is doing. She has elected herself a spokesman. No, she hasn't. She opened a YouTube channel, mate. She's no more elected herself a spokesperson than I have. Or than Sargon has, or than the Amazing Atheist has, or anyone else who's got a YouTube channel. Yeah. If she said otherwise, I'll be happy to. But I've never heard her once say that I speak for all women. Or that she speaks for anyone other than herself. This song is about Ian Watkins and his love of Vaseline. Baby, love really hurts without you. Love really hurts with. Here's an impression of James Brown on the toilet. So I'm just going to lighten the mood. Yes, but they have a... Listen. Gyro, you don't seem to get this. She started a YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel was going to be criticising films and TV shows, and or analysing films, TV shows, and video games. Right? Loads of people do that, and everyone who does it from a particular point of view or perspective or ideological standpoint that they happen to hold. She did that, and she just so happened to get a lot of attention and a lot of people interest. That is not her fucking fault. If you think that what she's not talking about is so interesting, you turn your webcam on and you talk about it. There's nothing stopping you, right? Just because she's a woman or claims to be, doesn't mean she's obliged to talk about only issues. There's nothing stopping anyone else doing it. I mean, H Bomber Guy, he does the same thing. H Bomber Guy critiques comics and films and TV shows and video games. And if you watch his videos, he does it from his personal. I don't see you busting your. He's got more subscribers than she has. Are you going to give him a load of shit because he's not talking about, because he makes a video about Transformers, or a video, You could put it towards any film critic. Look at Mark Kermode or Roger Ebert. Look at Jim Sterling. Do you think I mean, if you watch Jim Sterling, You're telling me he doesn't critique video games from his own personal, through looking at it through his own personal ideological or political perspectives? Of course he fucking does. That's his entire channel. She doesn't speak for... Feminists do not speak for women. That is not what a feminist is. They don't... Everybody speaks for themselves. Okay, Gyro, I don't care. I haven't called you a misogynist or anything, right? Get over it, right? If you don't like it when people, accuse you of things you haven't said, or accuse you of things you haven't done, or blow things you say out of proportion, well then, how do you think? Maybe now you know how she feels, right? But this idea that she speaks for women, that's not the responsibility of a feminist, because there's different types of feminists. It's still her opinion. So if someone labels themselves a feminist, it's still talking from an ideological standpoint. That's all she's doing. She's looking at and critiquing things from an ideological point of view, which is what every single critic does. Do you think what H Bomber Guy does isn't? Do you think H Bomber Guy doesn't talk about important social issues that affects it? I mean, isn't he bisexual? So he talks about things sometimes from Do you know a part of the world where LGBT community are treated like shit? What, the Middle East? And here he is talking about. Yeah. Yes, but you could say that, but I could say the same of you, Gyro. You haven't got a platform, but that's because you've never turned a fucking camera on. There's nothing stopping you doing what she's done. If it matters to you that much, and it seems to, because you're getting very fucking excited about it. Yeah, but what you think a feminist is and is not fucking relevant, mate. You don't get to determine what a bloody feminist is. Any more than anyone gets to look at me and tell me what I should be talking about. Or anyone gets to look at anybody else, what anybody else should be talking about. There's nothing stopping you talking about those issues too, but you expect her to. If they matter to you, you talk about them. I get people all the time leaving comments on my videos saying, oh, you should make a video. I had this cunt the other week fucking saying, you should make a video about Julian Assange. It's the most important thing. Why aren't you going to make a video about Julian Assange? I'm like, because I don't want to make a fucking video about Julian Assange. It's got enough. If you think, and I said to him the same I'm saying to you, if it matters to you that much, like, get a webcam, turn it on, press record, and do something about it. You know? And I hate to break this to you, but most people tend to focus on the country they live in, or the or at least the cult, or at least the culture that they live in that is relevant to them. That's just what people do. I said you're acting like she's the, you're acting like what she does is something unique. It's not. Yeah, but it's your opinion that they're petty, mate. Who are you to tell her or anybody else what is and isn't relevant? What gives you the right to say what you're talking about is petty and doesn't matter? Well, maybe it matters to them. Maybe they've got perfectly good reason to believe that it matters. You don't get to tell someone else what is and isn't important. You can say that you think it is, but it's still just your opinion. Yeah. To be fair, this conversation is going nowhere. We're just sort of going around in circles now. You can carry on. I'm gonna carry on doing my drawing of Slipknot, which really is kind of silly. I should be doing drawings of people in the Middle East, So do I, mate. Redmond, we don't know what it is, mate. There's literally, there's literally no point in speculating. Like I said, it's like the same as last night. Yeah. Good God, this is going to take fucking... It's going to take all week, this drawing. Would I ever dye my hair? Oh, fuck off, Dawson. My hair's been 4 different colours in the last year, you absolute cretin. You really... I know this is incredibly un-PC, what I'm about to say, but literally, I cannot think... The only way to describe you are an absolute mongoloid porn inferno. There's something not right with that. There's something not right with you, you know. And yes, I know everything I just said in that fucking sentence is wrong. But I'm sorry, I've been forced into it. His fucking mum did, or at least a milkman or two. He was called a... Oh, God. You're thinking about the Scottish Twitter. You say it sounds like a fun time, but I mean, it'd be a nightmare getting a cab back from there. You know. I don't know how you'd market it, you know. That was actually a username of someone who left a comment on one of my videos once, and I just sort of laughed at them, and they said, "Oh, you got no actual intelligent response," and I'm like, "Dude, it does. I don't need one, like, because you could have written the most insightful, you know, damning and just intellectual, just brilliant piece of English prose ever in that comment. The fact is, no one's going to sit around, it doesn't matter how awesome what you've just written is. The fact is, if anyone who uses it, they're going to have to say, oh, it came from mongoloid porn inferno on the internet. No one's going to fucking... It's not going to be worth it. If you'd called yourself something a little bit more family friendly, then maybe I'd have wasted my time. I don't know. He'll get over it, don't worry, he's a big boy. Nice to have a little bit of spicy, heated discourse every once in a while. Keeps you in check. think he's more angry at Firemouth than anyone else. Yeah. Well, then take it up with him, mate. It's not my fucking... What do you want me to do? I'm not his fucking social worker. I think we all came to the mutual conclusion that I was right. And well, you know, you can take that up with him, mate. I'm not going to sit here and, you know. Guy expressed his opinion. For what it was worth, at least that felt like a genuine conversation, not just some. It was nice to have a heated discussion in the. Bean, how are your eggs? Right, I'm gonna. It's been 3 hours. I'm gonna call it a day for now. Expect, if I don't get my computer back today, then you can probably expect me to be live streaming throughout. I probably might even do another one later on. But anyway, that was a nice, spicy little chat. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I'll probably see you later.